fraud.
To me, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has become one of the league's most overrated players all time.
Go home, Google Tim Duncan highlights. Watch the 3-minute clip of the most mediocre highlights of all time.
No. Welcome everybody back here to Chase's Sports News. A few special guests I have here today at the studio of the Makeshift Project. It's Zach, it's Mike, Makeshift Project, Makeshift Hoops. Guys, how you doing? Thank you for taking the time today.
I'm fantastic. I'm not used to having people on this side with me.
This
It feels a little crowded.
It's like new territory, but we are pumped to be here. Thank you for having us on your show.
Yeah, and thank you for having me here. I'm going to be on your guys' show as well. I appreciate this opportunity. I find the stories so fascinating. Childhood friends, now social media superstars. How does it feel kind of looking back in retrospect?
It feels crazy. I'm happy that we got him involved.
Yeah.
So Brian, myself, and Mike were all in the same first grade class. We brought on Mike, a year ago?
Yeah,
Then we just hit the year?
A year next week, officially. But
Wow.
yeah.
So we brought him on, and just to be able to do this with our childhood friends and people that we've known forever, it's like, it makes it that much more special. And, I always say it's like kind of unexpected that we got to this point. But now that we have this expectation, we're able to run this business together. It's awesome. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
How do you feel, Mike?
I mean, I couldn't be more stoked, right? I mean, you said it best, right? I was in the same first grade class as them. So such a full circle moment. And when you do something like this, that's such a creative outlet and you love what you do, never feels like work. So we've done some incredible things. I mean, I've only been part of the journey for the year now, but just supporting them from day one and them including me is just so awesome. And to the moon, I'm so excited to see where we're headed.
Nothing hits more different than when Mike says full circle moment. It gets me going. It gets me amped up. I'm ready.
I'm sure you guys are. I mean, how does it feel? Because the Makeshift Project was established going into when you joined last year. What were kind of the expectations when you jumped on board last August?
Well, you know what it is, like you said, the biggest thing is, although we're so close and like they're some of my best friends, they've set such a high standard in the space because they're so great at what they do. So kind of adding that internal pressure to yourself to really meet that standard, but at the same time, like realizing how easy they are to work with. And they sort of have provided the foundation for me to really speak my mind and talk basketball.
Right.
So it's a fun stress, if you want to call it that. But at the same time, being able to do it with them, it's a joy.
Kind of on the opposite side, what have you felt about having Mike a part of the team?
Well, it's not anyone that we would have join the team, right? So a lot of friends have come up to us and expressed, hey, I want to start Makeshift this, Makeshift that. And like we came to Mike knowing that he has the work ethic and kind of the mentality going into this, that he thinks very like-minded to us. So having him join was like a no-brainer for us. It was just a when it was going to happen.
Right.
And then when we told him and he was interested, we're like, okay, let's do it. And then we finally kind of ran with it. And I just knew that he was going to show up and be the person I needed to be to run a social media channel.
Right.
Not everyone has that. Not everyone's consistent, hardworking. He works a full-time job on top of what he does.
Making me blush right
now. Yeah. He's going to send me this in a few weeks. He's going to be like, oh, remember when Zach said this moment? And I was like, yeah, no. He sends clips all the time of the moments that we have. And yeah, I'm making him blush, so that's a special one.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you have to be so versatile as well to be able to be entertaining on the camera as well as know what you're doing behind the camera. Being here, watching how you guys set up and the different things technically that you have to do as well. It truly is such a job, content creation, and the Makeshift Project has absolutely mastered the game of content creation. You see the 1 million subscriber play button right there. It's unbelievable, the success that you guys have had. You hear these stories all the time. Bands break up. You have all these like friends together, and sometimes it just doesn't work. How have you guys also been able to be friends and coworkers at the same time?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah, I'll feed off of what you said.
Sure, yeah.
I think for me, specifically with Brian starting out, it started out as a fun project and like something that we can do together because we always want to get into creating content. So having that be the basis of things like helps. Like we're always friends first. The business comes second. But then at the other coin, right, you want to generate more revenue and run the business so we can sustainably do this for a long time. I mean, you have to kind of weigh those things out. But I think when it comes to Mike and like any of those conversations that might be a little bit tougher or a little bit more on the business side, just saying like, Mike, I'm here as your friend first. I want to put that forefront. I want to be fair. And that's like the principles that we kind of operate and run by. And I feel like we felt like that in a few conversations that we had and just always want to be over transparent, overshare and communicate. And that's kind of the core of our friendship as well as the business now.
Yeah, and Zach made a great point. Obviously, it is a business, right? It's their full-time jobs. But at the same time, you never want to lose sight of why we do these things. And you also see some of the things that we've been able to do, right? Yeah. We recorded a podcast at Tracy McGrady's house. We were at Fanatics Fest. We had the chance to meet you. We had the chance to meet so many cool personalities, athletes, influencers in the space. So sort of just always trying to find ways to quantify your goals and reaching that next tier, right? It adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
And, obviously, I don't want to toot my own horn ever, but Zach said it takes a certain type of person to do what we do. And I think those are common qualities that we all share. So that's what makes it so enjoyable.
And you have to be that entertainer. And I feel like whatever people are always like, how do you make it on social media? You could be the best editor. You could have the best topics. If you just cannot speak on camera comfortably, you don't have the confidence, or if you're just not that interesting, not to be kind of rude to those who are not, but you got to be interesting. You have to be entertaining. And you guys have done that. Real quick, obviously, we got to play some games, talk some hoops, all that stuff. What was kind of your we've made it moment? I know you've kind of joined in late in the game, particularly to Zach, and then maybe with you with Makeshift Hoops. What's kind of been the, oh my gosh, we've done this, we've made it type?
Yeah, for me, I mean, just recently interviewing Adam Sandler was like always on the bucket list. Whenever we talked about dream podcast guests, I got to ask that question. Like that's one of the 3 people that we named.
Who are the other 2?
It's more personal for me. I think like an all-time Met like David Wright would be one, and then for Brian like Boki Nakbar. You think right?
He's a former Net. I don't know if you know that.
No, probably like Jason Kidd or someone for Brian if I had to guess. Just like one of those athletes that you grew up. Steve Nash too would be huge for him. But I think for me like the made it moment was I was sitting in my corporate office in a meeting, and I got an email from Netflix to go to Las Vegas for the Netflix Cup, which is F1 and the PGA Tour collabing. And I literally got up out of the meeting and I go, oh, I'm like, sorry, I need to step out real quick. Like, feel a little sick. Need to go to the bathroom. And I walked into a private meeting room and literally called Brian and was like screaming on the phone. I was like, is this real? Is this a fake email? Like, what's going on? And to me, like at that point, it was November, I think 2024. I was like, wait, like people are flying us out places. A company like Netflix, like we could do this full time.
Yeah.
So then we started planning and plotting, and then by that March, we were able to go full time with it. And like that to me was like a moment where I was like, oh, like people actually like us doing this a lot. We could make this our full time job. But
yeah, and like for me, obviously smaller sample size, but I'll never forget. I was working from home one day. I just logged off, and when you scroll through Instagram, you could see your mentions. And I saw that Shaquille O'Neal posted one of our videos on his story. And, again, you scroll through, you have more like generic, like non-verified accounts that do the same. But I scroll through, I see Shaquille O'Neal posted one of our videos.
Yeah, just like scrolling through normal day.
Yeah,
there's
right?
Shaq.
And you sit there and you say, wow, like, you know how much that... I was screaming. I was freaking out in our group chat. I'm like, there's no way Shaq just did that. And then the next day, Isaiah Thomas did it. So, doing the content's great. For me, I just love spreading awareness about the game of basketball, as vague as that sounds. So when you have, whether it's athletes or just the general public come up to you and sort of commend you and say, we love what you do, that sort of makes you feel like you make it. And it kind of adds that feel to say, we want to keep doing what we do. So.
And you guys have been inspirations to so many. I know I had a YouTube channel for about like 2 weeks, but it was one that I had with my friends. It was pretty much inspired on, based off of the Makeshift Project. And it was just along the lines of talking, the 3 good friends from middle school, just having fun, having a conversation. And you guys have been you've inspired so many, and you guys should really feel proud of that.
It's the definition of, well, now 3 friends, but 3 friends start a podcast or a social media channel in a basement. And that, like, this looks like a studio, sure, like this little corner that we carved out, but you're looking out, like, this is where we used to play, like, basketball or video games as a kid. Like, we've done all that stuff forever. And I thought your made it moment was going to be Tracy McGrady's house.
Yeah, I know I touched upon T-Mac earlier, but literally T-Mac's my favorite player of all time. My first ever jersey was a kid small T-Mac Magic jersey. And we were fortunate enough, because of our platform, what we're able to provide, we were able to go to Tracy's house. We did a full-blown podcast with him. We shot around in his gym in his backyard.
Mike pulled out his childhood jersey, his first jersey, and he had T-Mac sign it. I was like, this is beautiful.
How bad did T-Mac beat you guys?
I got smoked.
Yeah, we did like a 3-point shooting competition where basically the hat starts in the middle. You make a shot, you move one, you go the other. I mean, I probably shot like 4 of 9 from NBA 3. I was just so nervous.
Wow.
Didn't have my legs under me.
4 of 9 from NBA 3 is terrible.
I know. I set myself to a high standard. Zach knows I'm way too hard on myself.
I went like 1 for 10, and I also like banked in the 3 that I made. So I was just like also nervous. And I'm like, once I get that pressure on me, like I'm not the best shooter already, but I could hit some 3s, but against T-Mac, you're like all panicking, and he's missing on purpose. Like he was toying with me.
T-Mac can still play?
Oh, he went in Brian's video. He went 9 for 9.
Automatic.
Some of these guys, just the talent never leaves them, I feel like.
I go, do you want to warm up, shoot around at all? He goes, no, I'm ready. He just walked in from watching college basketball. He was watching the NCAA tournament, and then came in, goes 9 for 9 on his first 9 shots from 3.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, smoked.
Incredible guy, by the way. We just love his company. Amazing experience.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those videos. Really, really cool. All right. I feel like you guys have never officially published a list. I'm sure you have one. we can go top 10, maybe just start top 5 NBA players of all time. Where do you go? My list has changed it changes about 5 times a year, it feels like. So I'm curious where your guys' mind is at in terms of this.
So how do you want to do this? You want to give our own list each?
Yeah, give your
Sure.
own list
So-
each. You go first though, because I'm like my top 5's a little shaky. I feel.
Okay.
Maybe top 10's more shaky, but we'll get
Okay.
to it.
Cool. So again, this is subjective, but I stand firm on this list, right? So number 1, you got Michael Jordan.
Everyone's got Jordan here? Is that going to be a debate?
I go back and forth. I don't know what I believe in anymore.
No,
Sell me on Jordan real quick. Sell me on him.
Sell me on Jordan. Okay, 6-0 in the NBA Finals, but it's not just that. The guy can elevate a team, and if you have one game where you need to win, you're going Michael Jordan. And I actually did steal that line. It comes from Mike Greenberg on my podcast, who said that. But you need one game with your life on the line. You're picking Michael Jordan. He has that tenacity, that anger, that heart, and he's also the most talented player who's ever played the game.
Okay, fine. I'll go Jordan 1. Fine.
Good.
You convinced me. I'm in.
Yeah, then number 2, you got to go LeBron.
Yeah.
Some say 1A, 1B, right? So I think we talked about this earlier, just the evolution of the athlete, right? Basketball players in the 70s through the 90s, they weren't playing 20-plus seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't that medicine. They weren't investing millions of dollars into their body. Not to knock LeBron, because he is the perfect basketball player, right? But if you want to think of a differentiating factor between him and MJ, I think of that 2011 Finals against Dallas, right? People are like, oh, you're too hard on LeBron. We're talking the greatest player of all time here. We're not just talking about me knocking on LeBron just because he isn't a top 2 player. But if you want to find a differentiating factor, Michael Jordan never put in a performance like that in a final series, ever.
No.
Right?
And I even think that the factor, too, of hitting the biggest shots in the biggest moments. I know Steve Kerr had some shots in there, John Paxton, shots along throughout the years. However, when you look at LeBron James, Kyrie Irving hit the game-winning shot in 2016. Ray Allen saved his GOAT case in 2013.
Yep.
You have to have those moments, and MJ did have that moment in 98, and so that has to be remembered as well.
So, yeah, LeBron, Jordan, but I'll go MJ 1, LeBron 2.
Okay, I'm there. You there?
Yes, I'm there too. But, all right, now I think this is where it gets, at least where my list gets a little bit controversial. I'm curious where you guys are at with 3.
You want me to go first?
You go first, Mike. Do
Okay,
it.
so at 3, I'm going to go Kareem.
Okay.
I'm going to go Kareem. I'm not going to sit here and say I was alive for when Kareem played.
Right.
But if you look at his resume, right, the MVPs, the championships, he was even so dominant in college, right? He's the 2nd all-time leading scorer. I feel like Kareem's body of work, while we were around more so for a Shaq, I can't justify putting Shaquille O'Neal over a Kareem. You could argue Magic too, but I'm going to go Kareem 3.
Okay.
I don't have an order on these 3 through 5.
Yep.
So
Who are the 3 in there?
I'm gonna say it's Magic Johnson. I'm
Yep.
gonna say it's Kareem, and then 5. Oh boy, who do I put? Who do you want me to put?
I'm not going to tell you who you
know
wanna
what?
put.
No, but my debate in my head is that if Magic's is like undebatably top 5, and I think Steph Curry might be over Magic all time, then doesn't Steph have to be in the top 5?
Absolutely not. Steph is not better all time than Magic Johnson. Should we get into this real quick?
Do you want to have that argument? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have the defense for it.
What is your argument for Steph?
I just think of 2 players, and it's the same argument with Michael Jordan and LeBron to me. That like if you had a player that you need to win a game for, I'm going to take the guy that could shoot, score at every level, have unlimited range. I mean, defensively probably not as good, but yeah, 6'9"
Magic wasn't
point
an
guard.
elite defender either.
Yeah.
For his height, especially.
You're,
yeah.
you're supporting my argument.
Yeah.
So I'll take Magic out. Why not? Let's put
Right.
Kareem. Let's put Steph, and
You're going to put Steph in your top 5.
why not? Let's have a little fun today. Why not? Right?
Okay, so this is where our lists definitely differ a little bit. I think Magic is the greatest point guard of all time. I don't think it's that close. I think Steph Curry is a great player, don't get me wrong. Curry can elevate himself, and I think Magic elevates his teammates better, as good as anyone ever has.
Well, to pivot off that,
Yeah.
right? I think statistically speaking, yes, Magic has elevated his teammates more. But when you have an offensive weapon like Steph Curry
True.
that you need to guard 94 feet, the way he opens up the floor for everybody else. Kevin Durant, top 5 of my favorite players ever. Kevin Durant wouldn't have been able to dominate at the clip he did in 17-18 if it wasn't for the way you had to defend Steph. I think that was one of the reasons why KD went there. The brand of basketball, the spacing, the run and gun.
That's-
So while I agree Magic is the best pure point guard of all time, Steph impacted off the stat sheet in ways you can't even quantify for 99.9% of players.
It also changed the game.
He did.
Exactly. Revolutionized the game.
Revolutionizing for sure is definitely the key argument. I think Michael Jordan as well, and I think that's also the argument for Magic and Bird. They saved the NBA. So kind of the impact you have.
Don't you dare put Larry Bird in your top 5.
I know what you think of Larry Bird.
Don't you
Okay,
dare
okay,
do-
hold on.
I'll put Shaq's my last guy, by the way, in the top 5.
Instead of Magic. So you
Yes.
got Magic and Bird both out of the top 5.
Yes.
Okay, so most people, where are you between 3 through 5?
So I got, sorry, I made a little confusion.
Yeah, you're good,
earlier,
you're
but
good.
I got Kareem 3, Magic 4, Shaq 5. And I have Shaq 5 simply off of peak, right? The 3 finals MVPs in a row in the early 2000s. Outside of Michael Jordan, that's probably the most dominant stretch of basketball we've seen from any player all time. Obviously, 3 years is a smaller sample size, but even in the 90s, even when Shaq went to Miami as the second guy and won a title, I'm taking Shaq at 5.
Okay. You guys don't get mad.
Uh-oh.
So, I do have Magic over Bird. By the way, I hate when people put Bird over Magic. Look at that picture right
Yep.
there. One guy beat him in college. One guy beat him more at the pros. One guy's more successful. Magic is better out of the two. One more titles, all of that. Bird's 4.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Bird is 4. Bird is 100% 4.
Bird's
Really?
a fraud, Chase.
Larry Bird is not a fraud because to me, how you have to look at it is at the time, the reason I agree with your take that Larry Bird should not be considered one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Okay.
Because the shooters today are much better. But to me, as we kind of evolve just as a world, and particularly in the game of basketball, the talent's going to be better. You mentioned the medicine, the way players condition. It's going to get, these guys are going to end up being better, right? Who knows what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are doing in today's NBA. So to me, you have to balance out how they have dominated their eras.
Agreed.
And think the eras are all on the same playing field and think about how much they dominated compared to what was the standard in their era. To me, Larry Bird was absolutely unbelievable from three-point range, given the fact that the three-point shot was not heavily utilized in the 1980s. He's a 3-time MVP, won those 3 championships with the Celtics, 2 of which as a finals MVP. I just think that if you're going to have Magic in this conversation, you have to put Bird right there because they're so comparable and both change the game if you look at the impact.
That's fair. I think he's definitely 6 through 10 for me.
Yes.
I wouldn't put him in the top 5, but he's
Yeah.
definitely 6 through 10. And I do think he was a fraud shooter, at least in people's minds,
Yep.
which is what you're saying. It's like, yeah, if you don't look at the era, it's like, what, he averaged like 5 3-point attempts a game or something like that. Like he averaged like 1.6 made for his career.
Yeah.
Like that's not a 3-point shooter to me. Great shooter though, mid-range and from 3 during the era. So
Right.
you can't argue that.
And compared to his competition, those numbers were
Completely.
unbelievable in the 1980s. To me, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has become one of the league's most overrated players all time.
Oh, here we go.
And we have some people behind the scenes who are looking at me like I'm crazy. 6 championships, 5 or 6
5
MVPs.
MVPs.
I understand the longevity factor.
Yeah.
I also do, though, like to think about not only how much do they elevate their era, but you also do have to look at how great the era was. And I do think that in the 1970s, the era that Kareem dominated the most was the weakest era of basketball we've ever seen. It was right after the Wilt, Oscar, Jerry West, Bill Russell days, and right before the Magic, Bird, Jordan, Hakeem days. It was, and the Bad Boys Pistons. It was kind of mixed in between. It was like a lost era for basketball, and it's why the game was dying in ratings, and Magic and Bird had to save the game. Most people can agree that Magic Johnson was the number 1 on those Lakers teams, that he was the leader of that team. So that means you're telling me that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a number 2 for 3 or 4 of his championship teams. And that's the guy that people are putting as the 3rd greatest player of all time. To me, if you're the number 2 for a vast majority of your rings, you cannot be put in a top 5 list of all time. So to me, I have Shaquille O'Neal at number 5. Because in terms of just pure dominance on a basketball court, Shaq provided that. He was the number 1 on those Kobe Laker teams. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm a diehard Kobe fan, he was the clear number 1 there. And in terms of pure dominance, I think Shaq is there. And honestly, if we're going to keep going down the list, I don't have Kareem 6. I have Bill Russell 6.
Oh, stop it.
I have Bill Russell 6.
Chase.
Who is he playing
Who
against?
won the
He's
championship?
playing
Well, first
against
of
the
all-
plumbers and firemen down the street over there.
So first of all, he dominated Wilt Chamberlain. Do you consider him a plumber too?
He never scored 100 points. We believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We
No,
need to
yes,
see
he
the
has.
footage.
He's
We don't
also an
believe it.
alien. He's also an alien. It
Yeah,
was
I said
someone's
it.
birthday, 100th birthday. That's why he was holding up the sign. That's the theory I heard. I'm just
I
saying.
didn't hear that one.
Iman Shumpert told me. I'm just saying.
One day, someone's gonna invent the time machine. That's got to be the first thing we go back to.
That's the first thing.
The
Us
100
three are
point
going.
game.
Us five are going. We're gonna check it out.
Let's get there. So for me, I think Bill Russell 6 because if a guy can dominate an era that greatly, 11 championships, it's not like that era was weak either. Elgin Baylor and Jerry West were right there. Wilt Chamberlain and Billy Cunningham were right there with the Sixers.
Chase, we would have been all-stars in that NBA.
I understand, but you guys are also now living in the 2020s. Different conditioning.
Yeah. He didn't say no, though. He didn't say no, so technically I feel like we could have.
I'm not going to criticize you guys in your own studio, so if we're going to be honest, let's go back to my house. I'll do the real criticizing. So let's be honest. I got Russell 6 just because of the team success, and then I do have Kareem 7 because, I mean, look, the numbers don't lie. This all-time success doesn't lie. I'm getting the vibe, though, that you guys don't have Chamberlain or Russell on this list.
They're fringe 9 or 10 for me. Right?
Okay, so let's keep going down.
Right before Duncan.
Okay, so you have Duncan 6.
Oh, no. He's saying 9 or 10.
So I have Bird 6.
Okay, good.
I'll give you 6 through 8. So I got Bird 6. Yep. I got Kobe 7 and Duncan 8.
Okay, and I know I've heard behind the scenes that you were also a Kobe over Duncan guy, which has become like a popular debate. So 6 through 8, let's go again. How is that?
Yeah, I want to say it's. So I didn't mention Bird in the top 5. So you got Bird in there. You got Kobe in there. Do you put Bill Russell? I'll put Bill Russell in the top 10. I'm not extremely happy about it.
Okay.
Is that 6
happy
through
when
8?
it gets fireman. How would you fuck the player of all time?
Is that 6 through 8? And then I also
think so, yeah.
I have KD.
KD in there as well.
Yeah,
okay.
he's like I put him at like 10 over Tim Duncan.
So you think
That's
Tim
where I'm
Duncan's
going.
not a top 10
I
player
know.
of all time?
No, listen to me. Listen, I know. I get these looks. I get these stares. I don't know.
Oy vey.
I'm also bad off memory. Like if I did like an actual research and like study, like I don't memorize this stuff like him.
We're like that. We got all these stats down and like.
Yeah, we know. It's the photogenic memory.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I think you made a good point earlier. No matter what, this is a never-ending subjective argument.
Yeah.
Right? You look at players, how they dominated their respective eras. I could even go on to say that the 90s wasn't the best era of basketball. Think about it, right? MJ played against Utah twice, 97, 98. 91, 92, 93, and 96, there was a new opponent every year. There was no sustained success across the NBA outside of the Rockets in the middle of the 90s, which that's the hypothetical matchup I wish we got to see.
All right.
But the way MJ dominated his competition, he was in control of that, and that's all that he could do. That's why tying back to Kareem, it's not his fault he was in the biggest market in sports playing with Magic Johnson, who's the best point guard of all time. He still won the 5 MVPs.
Right.
That takes something. I think Wilt Chamberlain,
But
won
did he win the 5 MVPs because of the competition is the question that I have. Because
Yeah.
once we got to the 80s, it was Magic, it was Bird, it was Jordan, it was the Bad Boys.
Yeah, so that ties back to who was the second best player of the 90s? You would say Karl Malone, maybe?
Probably. I mean,
So
Hakeem,
that's what
probably,
I mean.
yeah.
The 90s wasn't that great. MJ has 10 scoring titles. You think about that. 10.
Well, that's 'cause
I'm
he's
not
the greatest
taking
of all time.
yes, but in terms of relative
I know what you're saying,
competition,
yeah.
92 they said MJ versus Clyde Drexler, who's the best player in the NBA? Clyde Drexler, Clyde the Glide, you called him.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I'm trying to say. It makes it subjective because it was whoever they went up against. Kareem didn't decide who he played against. Wilt Chamberlain went up against Bill Russell, who has 11 titles. I think Wilt Chamberlain lost how many finals?
Yeah.
8 or 9, I think, something bizarre.
I mean, Jerry West too, or something. It was whoever was playing him, because I think Chamberlain didn't lose many. I think he was in the East with the Sixers.
Yes,
the
when
conference
he was
finals.
with Philly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jerry West is literally the only Finals MVP to lose in the finals. So that's what makes this a never-ending argument.
Right.
So for us growing up in the 2000s, looking at their body of work, it's hard for me to justify putting a Bill Russell or a Wilt Chamberlain over a Kobe Bryant or a Tim Duncan.
Right.
I just can't do it. I know I put Kareem over them, but
Right.
6 titles, 5 MVPs, it kind of levels
The
itself
body
out a
of
little
work
bit. The
just-
body of work
yeah.
is there, dating all the way back
Okay.
to college.
I'm like, I also don't love the argument in general. And I feel like, and
Yeah.
you kind of hinted at this a little bit, like you almost need like 3 separate top 10 lists. Like you need
Yeah.
dominance, you need like their peak and their
yep.
prime, and then you need like the longevity argument.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, like the LeBron and the Kareems, they played forever, right? So like they're on the top of that list, but
Right.
you know, when you talk about best player in a moment, like I think of like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers arguably had the greatest quarterback season of all time. When you look at Tom Brady, he's obviously the GOAT. I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers played the quarterback position at a higher level than Tom Brady.
Actually, I'd argue you can, because to me, I think there could be 2 completely separate arguments that you look at. Who's the better player and who's the greater player? Because
Yeah.
to me, those words are different.
Correct.
If it's just the best players of all time, Kevin Durant is in this list. If
Exactly.
you could build a player in a lab, it's Kevin Durant.
100%.
6'10", could shoot the ball from anywhere. I mean, can score from all levels, great defender.
I think
is
that's
fine.
where I get kind of confused. And
And
I throw the Steph Currys, I throw the
Right.
KDs in there because I'm like, well, they're better players. Like, they could score from anywhere, every level. I don't go
But then you look
so
at the
much-
legacies and the
Exactly.
awards, and that's how this conversation's so tough. To me, I close out the list. Kobe 7, Duncan 8. You could very well make the argument to me for Duncan over Kobe. I've argued this with my dad way too much. I can't go back on it at this point.
Yep.
So I gotta stick with Kobe. But Duncan 8. What do we have? So I think Kareem was 7. So let's put Kobe 8, Duncan 9, and do I have Wilt or Steph Curry? Becomes the next question.
I don't know.
Do I have
that's a
the
you
alien
question.
or the shooter?
You know the right answer.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's put Steph Curry.
Thanks.
I'll help the modern
Thank you.
NBA out a little
Thank
bit.
I want you. I'm giving you homework. All right, you're
Yep.
still in school, right? Okay. Go home. Google Tim Duncan highlights. Watch the 3-minute clip of the most mediocre highlights of all time that you've seen. There's nothing impressive. Like, well, then name a big shot that he hit. Beside,
he's
like
the
he
big-
banked a shot in
Alright.
from the elbow
He's the
for
big
like a win.
fundamental. That's his nature.
These talk. These talk.
They do
I'll tell
talk,
you that.
but this is the conversation I'm having and why I bring up again. Better player.
I think
versus,
Kobe's
like-
easily the better player. You can make an argument Duncan's greater. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, and I'm completely fine with saying that. Tim Duncan, in terms of greatness, is top 10. But when you look at the best players of all time, which is where kind of my head typically goes, I don't think he's top 10. I think you got to put those other players over.
But yeah, for me to round out my top
Yeah.
10, I'm gonna leave off Wilt and Bill Russell.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Steph 9, Kevin Durant 10. Honorable mention Hakeem Olajuwon, but that rounds
Yeah,
out. my
shout out Hakeem, by the way. I
love
always kind of
Hakeem.
forgot. Yeah, Hakeem's great.
He
Now
gets
watch
he
his
gets
highlights.
lost.
Watch his highlights and tell me Tim Duncan's better than him. I dare you.
The most
dream.
ridiculous footwork.
Dream
ever.
shade, yeah. And yeah, I also think that shout out to George Mikan if you're talking about dominating an era in the 1950s. And Cliff Haggis, too, by the way, will always be now on meme. Shout out Cliff Haggis.
Zach used to do the mic and drill in my driveway
my
outside of my
goodness.
house after school.
Forget it.
What, the height makes it easy.
That's how I hit all those reverse layups in high school.
That's it.
That's how I would have played in the 70s.
Against the plumbers. All right, look, let's transition. The topic you can go on for hours. You know, you guys do the game I Can Name. There have been 57 years now with an NBA Finals MVP. How many years can you name when a player has won?
So I'm not going to be any help for this. Like,
Okay.
I can.
So should it be me, Mike? Okay.
Yeah, so
I can name.
do you want to just see how many we can name? Or do you want to do like more of the timer?
Do the I Can Name like game essentially where one person's like, all right, yeah,
Oh.
let's do it. All right, is that cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Go
I can
for it.
name 1.
I can name 2.
I can name 3.
I can name 5.
I can name 10.
I can name 11.
I can name 15.
I can name 16.
What timer are we going on? 30 seconds?
A minute.
A
Let's do
minute? Okay.
Okay.
I can name 57. I can name them all.
You can name all
And
of them.
you know what I'm going to do for the audience? Close the computer. Nothing around. Close my eyes. Does the audience trust me here? Or I'm going to say the audience trusts me because I want you guys. I want to see the reaction on your.
I
face.
have the utmost trust in you because if you
Okay.
pull this off, then I need to go do my homework. I thought I knew about basketball.
All right, you guys ready?
Do I even have to I'll put. Oh, wait.
Let's set
I'm
the
not ready.
timer.
I'll
I
get the
got you.
timer.
All
All right, you
Yeah,
got the
Mike's
timer.
got it.
I got to
Mike's got
see where I'm at and if I'm going a quick enough pace.
it. Okay.
Do you want to count? How do you
Yeah,
wanna
let
do
me
this?
count. Okay, I'll count. I'll just count in my head. I got this. I'm a smart person.
Okay, let me know when I'm at like 30, and then right or okay. Does
Do
that work?
what?
Just let me know when I'm at 30 seconds, and then
Okay.
like, maybe
I'll
count
let
me
you-
down from
So
10.
I'll
He's gonna
let you
let you
know
know.
30 seconds. Zach will sort of count.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sort of count. I got it.
It goes 1, 2.
I got it, I
You got
got
it. Cool. Okay. Good. All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
From 69 and on, Jerry West, Willis Reed, Lou Alcindor / Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Willis Reed, John Havlicek, Rick Barry, JoJo White, Bill Walton, Wes Unseld, Dennis Johnson, Magic Johnson, Cedric Maxwell, Magic Johnson, Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan, Hakeem, Jordan, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Duncan, Chauncey Billups, Duncan, Wade, Tony Parker, Paul Pierce, Kobe, Dirk, LeBron, Kawhi, Andre Iguodala, LeBron James, Durant, Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, Curry, Jokic, Brown, Shea.
You did that in
42 seconds. 42
That's what I'm talking about.
seconds. Are you kidding me?
See, I like, but once you said Jordan, I was like, I can't count. That's fast.
I'll put it in my 2 weeks. I'm out. That's it for me.
I think we got a replacement for Makeshift Hoops. Jeez, that was nuts.
So I remember I used to do a trivia game and I had this list all down And I pretty much memorized the list right after 2020. So that's why in 2020 I'm like, because memorization, I forget. I'm like, okay, Giannis, Curry, and I can get there. But thought to do that game because
42 seconds.
42 seconds, 57 and 42. Well, once I get to 91, I'm like, okay, Jordan, Hakeem, Jordan. Like I could do that in 2 seconds. So at that point, it's so easy. Michael Jordan makes everyone's life easier.
That was absolutely incredible, Chase.
Thank
that
you.
Was phenomenal.
I appreciate that. I had to show that off. I'm sorry.
I was ready to name like 35. I was like, you putting this on me, and I'm thinking of everybody, and then you just said 57. I said, okay. Wow.
Something tells me you did that on purpose. That's what I'm thinking.
That was fantastic.
I want to have a quick conversation before we get into a blind ranking, which I know you guys love.
For sure.
How much should a finals MVP guarantee you're in the Hall of Fame? Because Cedric Maxwell is the only one that's not. Iggy probably won't make it this coming year.
No.
You don't think it should?
No, because Matthew Dellavedova should have won in 2015. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, whoa.
So
I was ready to walk off,
Yeah.
and then he said, "I'm just kidding." So, all right, I'm staying pat here.
But you actually bring up a good argument here because we recently did a video on what players are deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. So I'm just going to give you a quick hypothetical.
Sure.
Do you think DeMar DeRozan or Andre Iguodala are more deserving to be in the Hall of Fame?
Andre Iguodala.
Because of the Finals MVP. If you remove the Finals MVP.
Well, that's removing him being one of the best players in the series where his team won the championship.
Yeah.
But
DeMar
Steph
DeRozan doesn't know how to spell championship, so.
Correct. He's going to have 25,000 points. He's got the 6 All-Star
Again,
appearances.
to me, it's like you can go through and you can find all of these guys who can make it. Like, I don't know, is Paul Millsap a Hall of Famer?
No.
Is Al Horford a Hall of Famer?
Maybe.
Oh.
He's got back-to-back titles at Florida. Don't sleep on
that's
Joakim
fair.
Noah.
Basketball.
That's fair.
That's fair.
And then the next back-to-back was UConn Huskies.
Yeah.
My favorite team. But to me, here's how I define being a Hall of Famer. If a book of basketball was being written, are you a notable part of that story?
Okay.
And so to me, DeMar DeRozan's story has nothing to do with telling the story of the game of basketball. To me, you cannot tell the story of the game of basketball without Andre Iguodala.
People do that with the NFL. That's the whole Julian Edelman argument. They're like, Julian Edelman.
Malcolm Smith won an MVP with the Seahawks. Obviously, different sport, but he's in football history.
Yeah.
Right? So, as of today, though, if Jaylen Brown's career ended today, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay,
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I do like this take though because to your
he's
point,
also like 9th all time in playoff wins, something crazy like that. Jaylen Brown,
Really?
yeah, it's something not. I can look it up to fact check, but I swear he's like 9th all time in playoff wins.
I like the argument of saying, like, again, I relate it back to the Julian Edelman one because, like, can you tell the Patriots history and NFL history, however many Super Bowls without Julian Edelman?
yeah,
The play, like the one play in the Super Bowl, that crazy catch, and just like I think he's like the all-time leading receiver, receptions wise, in Patriots Super Bowl history, maybe.
Also, like,
So he's not anywhere near the top 10. Excuse me.
It's
But,
okay.
No, I mean, he's going to be up there all time, I think. I mean, Andre Iguodala's 21, just looking through this list. Yeah, I mean, Cedric Maxwell's the only one not in. I understand the argument of, like, if he just had one big series, like, how can that define a player? And it's kind of a meaningless conversation because most of the guys who do end up winning Finals MVPs have a luxurious career with more accolades and more success.
Yep.
But it's the Andre Iguodalas of the world and the Cedric Maxwells where you kind of have to flip a coin.
Yeah.
How about at regular season MVPs? Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer?
So we did this video many moons ago. Brian's opinion on this is that the standard to become an NBA Hall of Famer is much lower than it needs to be. And
That's fair.
because of who they've admitted in the past, that sort of set the precedent of letting all these guys in the future. You have the LaMarcus Aldridges of the world, right?
Yeah.
You have DeMar DeRozan. You even have Blake Griffin, who won a Rookie of the Year.
Like,
He
you
made
can't
multiple
tell me
All-Stars.
Blake Griffin should be the Hall of Basketball. Like, that's ridiculous conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree with you. But
Yeah.
at Andre Iguodala's peak, would you argue that he was a better basketball player than a LaMarcus Aldridge or a Blake Griffin?
No, but I'd argue to make the Hall of Fame, you got to be greater. And I think that's where the conversation comes in.
Yeah, when LeBron blocked Iguodala in 2016, he's in history. No, I'm kidding. But yes, I mean, Iguodala has the 4 titles. So to your point, yeah, the best.
Mike Breen's the best.
So to your point, I really like the analogy you made, but if you win a Finals MVP, you're more likely than not going to go on and have a really luxurious career.
Yeah.
So I would like to say yes, but there may be an instance where not. Again, it's a subjective argument. So.
All right.
Tough.
Should we go to a blind ranking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
I need you guys to work together here. I'll look at the camera. Well, we can do it like you guys do it here, all right?
Intro everything.
All right.
Yeah.
Rank these historic moments in NBA history without knowing which comes next. Giannis Game 6 to close out the NBA Finals and beat the Suns in 21.
I know where I want to put it. Where do you want to put it?
No higher than 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4, maybe 5.
When did he have the 50-point game? Was that game?
That was the game. That's the game I'm referring to. I think
So
that
that's
was
the
the
game
game.
yeah,
that
so-
was the game 6. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a 50-point performance in the finals
to close out the
right?
title.
I still don't have
People
the
don't talk about it because we were coming out of a global pandemic and KD's shoe was too small. It's a really big, too big, really big soft spot for me. We're going 4.
4. I like 4. That's where I initially in my head I put it because it was a historic performance.
Right.
But the next ones could be
So
better.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. In my first few years predicting the NBA, I had the Lakers winning going into the playoffs in 20, the Bucks in 21. So I was like, for a long time, I was like on this streak where I got the title chips, right? So
Wow.
that Giannis game really helped me out with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand because it's like the nostalgia factor maybe doesn't feel as real. It was only a few years ago. How about this? Magic comes in at center to replace Kareem, wins Finals MVP in his rookie year.
You think that's above or below?
It's definitely above.
Yes, but how far above?
I was thinking maybe 2.
2?
It kind of started the whole Magic Johnson greatest of all.
So
one of the greatest
if
of all
we're
time.
feeding off of Chase's argument, that moment is etched in NBA history.
I just feel like he might.
I
Only
mean, literally,
get
the
better
guy
and
who's the
better here.
third greatest player of
Yeah.
all time literally got injured, didn't play, and the team won. So, I mean,
So again, this is a team effort. I'm cool with 2, but if you want to go 3,
No, let's go. I'm fine with 2. I just feel like he almost planned this because I know he's devious to get better and better and better as we go. That's in my head. He's going to be like, yeah, it was the reverse ranking.
I'm okay with that, but I feel like if Magic did that in 2025, we would be comfortable putting it as high as 2. We just weren't alive for this.
Well, that's fair. Okay, we'll put him 2.
We'll put 2.
how about this? We have some people. You were not old enough for that. My father's in the background. You were not old enough. When you heard about that moment, though, how historic was it?
Well, when you guys were arguing before about kind of where you put Magic on the list and everything, to me, Magic replaced Kareem's position and did a better job than Kareem.
Okay.
And so to me, that's the mic drop for Magic over Kareem. Now,
Yeah.
I did not see it live. I was alive, thank you very much, but I was too young to watch it. However, though, it was that was the play that put Magic on the map. And to me, he came in to play center and played center better than their real center.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you
Number
would agree.
2.
My
He,
dad-
ju- he just
Magic,
solidified number
Magic
2.
Johnson was also the person who got my dad into basketball. So,
Love it.
That-
I love
the
that.
Well, I
jacket.
became a Spartan fan growing up as well, under the Judd Heathcote era. So
Okay.
and then Tom, you always pick them to win it all now too in March Madness. He loves Tom Izzo.
It was a fun era.
All right, how about this? Not playoffs, but just now even more like emotional now that he's passed away. Kobe goes for 60 in this finale.
That's a big moment.
Is that one?
That can't be one.
Can that be one? Is that question?
I'm not going to call this an uncomfortable conversation, but I think Zach's going to handle this answer better than me. So I'm going to let you answer this one.
Well, I don't think it's one because
You're saying there've been more historic moments.
yeah, it's
Oh,
not
man.
but it's not a playoff moment. It's not on the biggest stage like that. What that team go that year? They won 25
I know.
games.
I don't. Yeah.
And can we just talk about this? It's like Kobe was like barely had like a leg to run on at that point, and like it went for 60.
And,
like,
unbelievable.
no,
I don't want to say no,
I'm
but
not
listen.
trying to persuade you, but like it's like that's just so.
I'm
like,
gonna make a comparison. Okay,
Yeah.
when you talk about Derek Jeter's greatest moments of all time, you do not like sure his walk off hit and his like last at bat or last game as a Yankee or at Yankee Stadium. Fine, great, but that's not the best Derek Jeter
Sure,
moment.
right. Yeah.
I don't think that's Kobe's best moment either. So
Probably-
if it's not Kobe's
yeah.
best, I can't put it 1. I don't want to put it 5. I could put it 3.
It's going no higher than 3.
No higher than 3.
Yeah, I'm saying.
'Cause you
I
can't
honestly
put it
would have
2.
considered 5. I would.
Do you wanna put it 5?
5.
It's not the playoffs.
We could put it 5.
Yeah, we'll put it 5.
Okay.
I don't want to get hate. for
Kobe
this, but
Bryant last on a blind ranking, something I never thought
That
I
was
would ever
his
hear.
decision.
I
That's
was in
not
my-
me.
My
Zach's like, I'm out.
I was
Not
in
me.
my college dorm freshman year. That Jazz team, I'll never forget that game. But it's historic. But I gotta go 5.
I think I watched it upstairs here. I think it was with Brian.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, you weren't invited. My fault.
Yeah, it's up there with some of his biggest moments. The 81-point game, the game against, what was it, Phoenix, and
Yeah.
fraudulent Steve Nash in 06. And,
that wing
yeah.
jumper, I'll never
Yeah,
forget it.
yeah, unbelievable. All right, how about this? We talked about it earlier. Block by James. LeBron's block against the Warriors comes back from down
You just
3-1.
slid in fraudulent Steve Nash. I
Oh,
love that.
absolutely, yeah. I had to put
Brian,
that.
I wish Brian was here. He would be heated.
We got to see his reaction afterwards when we see this.
We will.
LeBron's block, where does it go?
I mean, it has to be 1 or 3, obviously, because that's how the lists work.
I kind of wish I listened to you putting Kobe 3 because I would have put that 3 and LeBron 5.
Okay,
LeBron's
so-
block 5?
I would have put LeBron.
So out of all
That's
the-
arguably LeBron's like greatest
It's like
moment. No,
your second greatest player of all time. His like greatest moment that solidified his case as one of the greatest ever. You think is the 5th most historic on this list?
I think people magnify that moment even more because it's LeBron. If it was LeBron who hit that shot instead of Kyrie, I would have been comfortable putting this 1.
Oh, that's fair.
So you
Kyrie
think
made the
shot
biggest
is
play in
more
that
important
game.
than the block.
I do.
I agree with that.
I know
think
it
that's
set
fair.
up the shot and the possession.
And
but
Mike Breen's announcing made it 10 times
when
better.
Mike
but-
Breen lets out a bang, you know it's legit.
Did he lay out a bang for that?
I don't know if he did. Well,
I feel like
maybe.
he had to.
He
right?
probably
I hope
did.
so.
I
just know-
thought he just said puts it in.
I was referring to the.
Oh, yeah, he did
might
say-
have.
yeah, you're
I'm thinking
right.
of the block by James. I mean,
Yeah.
an all-time call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So for me, like,
Block
I think
by
that
James.
amplified the moment a little bit, and that's why he's leaning towards 5, but we can't, so we'll put it 3. You should have listened to me.
Okay. And I think you actually did nail this because you left your one spot open. Michael Jordan's game-winning shot in the 1998 NBA Finals.
See, I'm very happy.
Bat. You know what that means? That's the GOAT. Numero uno.
Okay, so to me, if I obviously blind ranking, the whole concept, you don't know what's coming next. Out of those 5, I think Jordan's is number 1 and LeBron's is number 2. And LeBron's block to me was so historic. Then I think you go Magic 3, Kobe 4, and just because Giannis is clearly the worst player on this list, his great moment and like the moment that made his career is not going to resonate as much as the others. I'd put him 5.
I think we might have actually done it perfect.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think if anything, maybe switching the LeBron block with the Magic, right?
Okay.
Because I'm trying to remove the player itself from the moment. Like,
Interesting. So the
Giannis-
moment's more important to you than who.
yeah,
had
because
the moment.
Giannis had a 50-point performance in a finals clinching game.
Yeah.
Imagine LeBron did
And like
that.
if Giannis does win another and possibly another MVP, which he very well could if the Bucks can surround him with anything but Kevin Porter Jr. as a starting point guard.
Yeah, and Cole Anthony, yeah.
Right. So it's possible. I mean, he'll be in top 10 conversations. 2 titles, 2 MVPs. If he can get one more.
Yep.
We already have Jokic in those conversations because of his 3 MVPs.
Oh,
so,
man.
Giannis is very underappreciated.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I got to play one more game with you guys, and then I'm not going to waste any more of your time listening to me ramble on.
No, never.
All right. Build an NBA player with $15. You got 4 topics. I think when I did this on your guys' channel, I think I built the perfect player. I had some budget options. I'm curious where you guys are going to go
We're
here.
going to beat you.
First, you got to look at just the build as a whole. For $1, you have the shorter Isaiah Thomas. Okay. For $2, you have Chris Paul. For $3, you have Bradley Beal. For $4, you have Victor Wembanyama. And for $5, you have Giannis.
He's real tough with the list. Isaiah Thomas at $1.
Which
$1
one
is
is
nuts.
it?
The
Detroit
shorter
or
one.
Boston?
The shorter one, yeah. The one that's like 5'9", was MVP candidate 1 year, the one in Boston. Modern.
What do you think?
IT.
I mean, I think if we're building a great player, I think the build's extremely important. I'm thinking Wemby.
No brainer.
Yeah.
So would you rather have Wemby's build or Giannis build? Because that was a conversation I was having when flipping 5 and 4. Because for me, I feel like I'd rather have Giannis build where he's more stronger.
Well, think about career progression. Giannis came in the league; he was just as frail as Wemby, right? So
Right.
maybe 3 years from now, if Wemby is
goes on that
somehow as built as
transformation.
Giannis,
Yeah.
So if we're talking trajectory, I think it's kind of even. But
Sure.
to save $1, I think we really like Wemby here. And
I'm
Zach has the Wemby build, so
No,
that's
I
the build I kind of want.
I got the Giannis build, dude. No.
You gotta get back.
We
in
all
the gym.
we all wish we had.
I went
Giannis
3 times
build.
this week. Watch out
I
over
went
here.
twice. Then. All right.
All right, playmaking. And for playmaking, I think a lot of people always forget playmaking does include scoring, but for this, we're going to exclude scoring. So scoring does not count, just making plays for others around you.
Okay.
For $1, you have JJ Redick. For $2, you have Cam Thomas. For $3, you have Fred VanVleet. For $4, you have Russell Westbrook. And for $5, you get the king, LeBron James.
Is playmaking that important? Do you want to save the money for the other rounds?
I got compared to Fred VanVleet by a friend recently. Do you
In
think
which
you
way?
think I'm a decent playmaker.
In which way?
My
On the
play
court?
style. My play style.
Okay.
I didn't love it, but I've been getting it more and more. It's up to you. What do you think?
I'm thinking go value here, $2 or $3.
Yeah.
So you want Van Vliet?
And who was the $2 option?
Cam Thomas.
You
I
like
mean,
Cam
he's-
Thomas, man.
But he's a
not a-
limited playmaker.
Yeah, and we're excluding the scoring
Right.
ability.
That's
Okay.
all pretty
You
much
can't
all
go
it does.
JJ Redick, so do you want to go?
Yeah, let's go $3.
Yeah,
Let's go.
$3.
Let's
All
see.
right, you got $7, 8 more to spend here, which means you could go a 5 and a 3 or a 4 and a 4. You can do it as you wish.
Or we could take 2 twos, right?
Or you could take
you never know.
You could, right?
I might take 2,
All right.
3, and 1.
A lot of people say scoring is very important. It's kind of the trajectory, the whole point of the game. You got to score more points than the other team. Thanks, Chase. Here are the $5, or here are the options for scoring. $1, you get Ben Wallace. $2, you get Jason Kidd. $3, you get the Washington Wizards starting shooting guard CJ McCollum. For $4, you get Dirk Nowitzki, and for $5, you get the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Do you spend the 5 here to go for the greatest score of all time?
Here's my question to you. Are any of the bottom options, can we pick 2 options that give you full scoring capabilities?
I feel like it has to be Dirk or MJ here.
Okay.
I'm also thinking of what the final category is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think we have a little more freedom there.
Okay, we'll do $5, Michael Jordan.
You want to do $5?
Yeah, done. Easy.
Wemby's build with Jordan scoring, I mean.
Yeah.
That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
All right. And the last category is defense, because there is another side of the ball, modern NBA fans. It's not just about threes all the time. For $1, you get Trae Young, who does not understand that concept. For $2, you get the Beard, who also does not understand that concept. For $3, you get Herb Jones. $4, you get Gary Payton. And $5, you get Hakeem, which means you can either take James Harden or Trae Young, or you're going to be stuck with Herb Jones.
We're talking just defense?
Yeah.
I mean, ball knowers know that Herb Jones is an incredible
He's that
defender.
guy.
So we actually met Trey Murphy at Fanatics Fest.
Right, yeah.
And I asked, how do we get back into the playoffs? What is New Orleans doing? And he said we were missing Herb Jones.
He's so good.
I mean, that's the
I'm in.
max option we can go.
I'm in.
Unless
Let's
you
take
want
it.
James Harden's defense. We call that Olay defense.
Yeah.
You let the person go right by you.
I heard an announcer one time. He's like, "And it's 1-on-1 against Harden. It's basically 1-on-0 because he doesn't guard his shadow."
Yeah,
so
he's a
it's
traffic
like,
cone.
yeah.
But yeah, I like the Herb Jones pick. It's not a big name, but hey, it's a great defender.
He's a good defender. Yeah, and if you have the other attributes you guys chose, you guys built a really solid player. So good job. You guys are winning at your own game. So congratulations.
Do it, baby.
Speaking of winning at your own game, this game of content creation. Before we wrap up, it's the game that you guys have dominated. You know, you're on here. You've inspired so many. You've grown significantly on all social media platforms. Now, what does the future hold? Because you started in January 2021. You got to the point where, okay, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be our long-term thing. You get to this level now. We're at 2 million subscribers. Now you have these channels: Makeshift Hoops, music, golf, all this stuff. Now, what does the future hold? What's the next evolution of the Makeshift Project?
This is like our car rides home when I drive Mike back. This is what he asked me. I'm like, I just want to get home. It's midnight.
I'm sorry, this is like too serious of a conversation.
No, not at all. I think we're going to continue to expand the brand. And I think that's like our goal. Like we call Makeshift Project the flagship. Like our goal there is maximum viewership, maximum reach, grow our audience. Same principle applies to everything below, but we just want to make the umbrella wider, right? So we're talking football. We're talking, I don't know, it might be food. You might see cooking. I don't know. Options are limitless with Makeshift. That's kind of our brand and what we do. It's, we could throw anything up on the wall and start recording and doing stuff. There's an array of different things that are on here. But yeah, it really is just expanding that brand, taking that umbrella, making it bigger, make the family bigger, teach people like you should have seen Mike's first video. Like you said,
I watched it.
Yeah. So like you saw when he first started, he was a little bit more, I would say less comfortable, but as you practice and you do things, like he had the skill set and capability to advance to someone who's very proficient at this now, right? So we just want to do that with a lot of our friends, keep it kind of close, tight knit, and just keep expanding the brand.
Yeah, and then just from a hoops perspective on a smaller scale,
Yeah.
we want to do more encore content, right? Obviously, we have our traditional style in the studio. We'd love to get on the court more. We'd love to continue.
How about like Makeshift Hoops live from a game? Like I feel like that could be a lot of fun. Like there's this traditional concept of beat reporter, press conference, all this stuff, but there's another side of media that I feel like you guys have the opportunity to tackle here, and that could be in any market. I feel like, and you guys can capitalize there.
Yeah, and just having guests on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were fortunate to have Tracy McGrady on. Brian and Zach had the chance to meet with Mario Chalmers, Iman Shumpert. While we're a hoops channel, the goal is always to cast as wide of a net as possible so that we can reach that audience. So the options are limitless. We're excited about it. And yeah, those are just 2 areas I think we could really focus on.
Long form content too. We'll get there eventually. It's been because our team's pretty small, but eventually we got more into long form because we did 3 videos, 2 of them crushed on the Hoops channel specifically. Right. Yeah. And then obviously we do the long form podcast.
We need to see more long form videos on the Hoops channel. How about like fantasy draft? You mentioned like a creator league.
I'll talk fantasy anytime.
It's limitless, the potential here. I'm so excited to see what is next, and it's so fascinating the reach that the Makeshift Project has as a whole. They always say be a well-rounded person, be able to talk about many different topics, and that's what you and Brian, and I'm sure you too, Mike, have been able to accomplish because I have so many friends of mine who are fans of your channel, and they don't like sports. They're not a big sports guy, and so you see all this stuff on the wall, but you can talk food, you can talk just regular culture in general. You could talk music. It's fascinating, and I am so looking forward to what the future holds. Say we do this again in a few years. Let's not only make this a one-time appearance, please. And I'd love to catch up in a few years, and maybe we have another one of these play buttons on the wall. So
once I learn all the finals MVPs, then we can get together.
Then we got to go back on. Yeah,
because that's gonna eat at me the entire ride back. I'm gonna call him like tomorrow, and talk about, and be like, how did I not know that?
You got homework.
Yeah, a lot of homework.
42
Mike,
seconds.
Seriously.
Zach, Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. This has been
course.
absolutely unbelievable. From Chase's Sports News here at the Makeshift Project Studio, I am your host, Chase Coburn. Zach, Mike, I'm Chase here at the Makeshift Studio.
And Brian, where the hell are you? No,
Yeah,
it's fine.
where did you go? I mean,
Come on, Brian.
boo.
Not enough room on that side of the desk.